2 weeks and then move on. I just don't have the patience, and I really don't care if it's not perfect. But if I'm having fun playing it, that's cool. You know, get it out there. Performance was a real issue for this game. I'm using Box 2D. I'm doing 640 by 480, full sort of basically all the graphics are changing 30 frames a second. Flash can have a bit of trouble with that. That was a major effort for me. I made it really hard actually, that was one of the things. I took a risk and made this game hard. Normally I make it so you grey mark and win every single one of my games, get through every single level. And this time I went, now look, let's just make it stupid. Yeah. It's really, really hard to control. If you too far one way, the car will start spinning and doing all this stuff. And I was a bit scared when I released it. But just to wrap up, it's had 1.1 million loads, and I made it about 3 months ago, and it's had 6.5 million levels played. So what that tells me is that basically everyone's playing at least, well, a few people are playing 5 levels each, so it must have done something right. Yeah. And that's my process basically of taking an idea right through to the first thing. I'm a butcher though. I'll just hack the things off. What, damn you? Yeah, thanks.
I'm John Lycette. I'm one half of Lycette Brothers. My PowerPoint's not performing, so I'm going to just perform first and then go back into it. As Simon said, we've been making content, digital content, for years. Basically, I guess started off building games and animations in Director, and then making CD-ROMs and getting into multimedia. You know, early in those days when I had to sort of try and explain to everyone what multimedia was, when I was at parties and so forth. We then got into animation and got into mobile content, producing stuff for Flashlight and for iMode in Japan, and animated content for various markets. None of which kind of, I was sort of thinking of this before in a few of the talks, I've been really inspired, and yes, it's great to be driven by passion, and I guess we've spent the bulk of our studio life being driven by passion and equality and an aesthetic that we love. But that's always been for us a paper animation kind of approach. And so in more recent years, or in last 18 months or so, thank God Apple took hold of a sphere, a mobile sphere, and allowed us to kind of focus on a particular area which we're focusing on now. So we don't have a strong gaming background. I'm not a big gamer. I've made puzzles and games and things in the past, and interactive products, I guess you can consider a game. But in recent, and as I said, in the last 18 months, we're focusing very much on the iPhone, partly because it's that controlled environment. The standards are consistent and controlled, and I guess it's leaning towards that more casual market, which is much more our cup of tea, I guess. I'm just going to quickly play a show reel. It's 45 seconds. I guess where I want to come from with this talk particularly, I guess that what I wanted to illustrate in that was that we've got a very broad style, so we change our style. We come from a graphic design background, so we don't have a particular aesthetic. Our aesthetic changes for particular jobs, and we're kind of interested in changing that. I guess that keeps us interested. Probably not in the time scale that Terry's talking about, 3 weeks, but certainly changing it for each job that comes along. I kind of wanted to talk about, so that's what I was talking about before. Idea generation, and talking about those million little ideas, and it crosses what people have spoken about. Our approach to generating an idea can sort of be boiled down to these things. What is missing out there? Look at other things and be inspired. In the last 3 sessions or so forth, a lot of these things are coming up. So putting 2 or more things together, jamming them together and seeing how they juxtapose, as Farbs was saying, or putting 2 things together that may not have been put together before. In the last talk, we were talking about original ideas and stuff, and a good way of coming up with ideas for us is looking at and being inspired by things and producing them. Particularly with the iPhone, I guess we're looking at the device and the way that people use it, and Ash talked about this a moment ago too. That has to be a pretty driving aspect of thinking about a game, and also identifying which products are going to be successful. I should just sort of say, I'm coming at it again from a very iPhone sort of mentality at the moment. And I guess we're sort of entering in the sense that, yes, this is a time to turn units, to start selling things. So I feel a bit grubby in a sense that, I am now more interested in, well, I'm not more interested, but I am very interested in making money out of this now. But it's not a license to earn money, is the fact. So, getting from a million ideas down to 1, this is probably our approach that we go through in the decision-making process. Is it an original idea? Not sure if that really matters, but it certainly drives some of our thoughts. Only way you can really find out that is to research stuff and look at stuff. Is it an original treatment or an improvement? So even if there's an existing product out there, are you polishing it, making it better, making it more successful? Does it utilise the device, as I said before? If it doesn't do that, then maybe it's not worth holding on to that idea, or maybe you should amend that idea to some degree. And does it have a market? Is there an audience that wants it or need it, or does it have a purpose for that market? And is it marketable? That's something that was touched in the panel previously. Marketing is a huge aspect to iPhone gaming, and when you're thinking about those ideas, or you've got that idea, you've got to say, well, is it marketable? Not only has it got a market, but is it marketable? How big is that market? How are you going to go about marketing that? Whenever we have people come up to us and say, we've got a great idea for an iPhone game, we're not going to tell you about it because we don't want to talk to you about it over the phone, but we're going to come and meet you and talk about it. We'll meet and yes, hopefully this is a good game. 5 times out of 10, or 9 times out of 10, there's already about 5 or 6 of those games on App Store, and they're free, and they're bigger than they could ever have planned or made, and they only want to do it in a profit share model. They don't want to give you $10,000 to make it. So right then and there, you kind of go, well, that's not really an idea to pursue. I'm going to just jump out, and this is where I start getting dirty. And so this is a little project that we've done. So this is a little project we did, and this is this typical scenario. Me and a friend were in a bar, throwing around ideas for an iPhone game. Would it be cool if we did that? I've seen a program like this, it was good, we could do that, that'd be perfect for the iPhone. Let's do that. This was this is more or less the product we came up with. And as you can see, it's produced. So, as you can see, it's not going to make, win any design awards, or we're not going to make my style glow, or, it's not the game I've had in me that I wanted to make. It's just one of those ideas that when we went through all of those little checks, we went, we've got to make this. So, with that example, is it an original idea? No. There's other things that exist out there. There's similar apps that existed out there before we built this. Is it an original or approved treatment? Yes, it is. It was video rather than illustration. A lot of the things that were out there that were doing that were kind of, unsuccessful to some degree. This is under 10 meg, it makes it more attractive, and that's thinking about it in a marketing terms as well. It doesn't require any intelligent input. It's a very simple concept. It doesn't require you to be funny or clever to make it function. It just does what it does, and it doesn't promise to be anything smarter than what it is. Does it utilise the device? Yes, but in terms of its physicality, the fact that it's a device you can hold up, covers your mouth perfectly. It's a personal item. It's always on you. Does it have a market? Is it marketable? Yes. It's a playful, silly impulse buy game. There's a truckload of them on the App Store. Why not have a go at making one? That was our approach. It's a simple concept. You just got to see that 20 seconds and you know what it does and what it doesn't do. It's language independent. That's one thing that drives, I would say, everything that we do, particularly stuff for other markets. If we can make it language independent, that's a great thing. A lot of the animations that I've made that are internationally renowned to some degree are all language independent, and that's something I would certainly recommend. It's a shared theatrical experience. That's kind of, it's not something you sit there on the tram and what's that guy playing, but it's kind of like, there's someone in the bar playing the diagram screen, everyone can see them. And it's got potential for future iterations. So as I said, it's not going to win any design awards. It's not going to make me go home and feel good about myself, about the game I've produced and made for the world. But it ticked all those boxes. It was kind of one of those things where you went, we've got to make this, just got to make it, because if we don't, someone else will. And it seems to have made tens of thousands of people happy in Italy, Germany, and Mexico, so that's great.
Excellent. So I think they deserve another round of applause to thank everyone for their ideas. So we have a fair bit of time now. We can ask a lot of questions. I'll throw it open to you guys. If you have any questions for anyone on the panel, the way that they come up with their ideas or how they choose, once they have ideas, which